Hey Scott, how are you?
Good. How are you doing, Patrick?
Doing good. How was your weekend?
Oh, it was good.
will
Beautiful weather.
um,
Enjoy that.
Awesome.
How about
I know
yours?
it's kind of nice,
Maybe
huh?
an
I was just
extent.
talking to a
Yeah.
buddy of mine in Anchorage. He said that it is cold and I think it's snowing or just snowed. So he was
Oh.
he was pretty jealous of our weather down here.
I bet.
Yeah.
I don't think this is insurmountable.
Well, very, very cool. I see Rhonda's on here too, so awesome.
We will
And
have
we'll
to
get
shorten
started
the
in
time.
just a
But
minute
he thinks
here.
he's going to have it done by
Hey Scott, how did Friday go? Thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
anticipating this is going to be a
It
problem.
went well.
Title
It was
company, I don't
pretty
think
good
it's gonna be a
attendance. I think we had
problem.
about 10 people on or
Underwriting,
something.
because
and
we're
Good.
this is for the day before
Jake was
closing.
on and Debbie was
Yes,
on.
because
so
underwriting will want to
it was,
review the
it was good.
LLC.
Good. Rhonda, you can mute
Uh,
yourself.
just to make sure you are who you are. Like we're not doing some switcheroo.
The joys of Zoom, right?
Yeah.
We had 10 people on there. That's awesome. They're mainly our agents or our agents and guests.
Is there any reason
What's that?
he
One
wouldn't
second
have the
here.
LLC in place by then? He said, I'm working on it right now.
How,
He said,
so do we have any
"Well,
guests
not
on Friday?
that complicated.
Freddie was on, and
He took down my social
forget his
security
name.
number,
Someone
so he
who I
said,
think had just joined our office from EXP last week.
"Get wrapped up by
Yeah,
then."
Steve
Yeah.
Boyd.
Uh-huh.
So I'm just saying.
Yes, I think that's
Okay.
right.
Awesome.
Yeah, Jamie,
You
Andrea,
or whoever,
Jim.
as soon as he's done with it, and then he said
I'm
the
trying to think who
secretary of
else. But it was
whatever
good.
of the state has to
Awesome.
do it.
Awesome.
ID number or something.
Right. We can, let's see. I'll just need to call. Oh,
Trying to let Rhonda know.
Yeah, I just sent her a text.
Awesome.
There
Well,
we
hey,
go.
there we go. Well, let's get started. Last week we talked about we talked about lead creation, conversion. Friday, Scott, you talked about lead conversion. So take it a different direction. What were some ahas that you had off of teaching lead conversion?
One of the biggest was just, there was one thing that really stuck with me. I liked, there was a Gary quote in there about someone who liked to go fishing, but he would always say he wasn't fishing. He was more interested in catching, something like that. I remember. And, I think just focusing on not just doing the activity, but on what the result you're looking for is, and creating urgency to make it happen.
Yeah.
That, and that it's, I think one of the things we talked about was the whole chapter was about capturing, connecting, and closing.
Mm-hmm.
And then towards the end, it sort of had a little sidebar on that. If they're not ready now, the nurturing part, the cultivating part. And it seems like in this market right now, that's as important as anything, because so many people don't want to go look at houses now, or want to see what happens with the economy or their jobs or whatever. But if you're out there, if you're lead generating, and if they're not ready now, you let them fall off. That's our business this fall and next winter, is those people, or later this summer, or whatever the case may be. And finding a system to continue to cultivate those is enormous.
Yeah. Well, it poses the question, right? Like a lot of us, I mean, how many of us have had those past clients or friends, family, maybe even someone we met at an open house that's in our database that says, hey, you know what? I want to wait. I want to wait 3 months. I want to wait 6 months. I'm not ready yet this year, right? I'm ready sometime. Well, how quickly does sometime show up if we don't stay in touch with them, right? Because we don't know we don't know their situation at whether it's work, home, whatever that is. Something could spark the need for a move. And that could take someone who's, you have an A, B, or C in the database. It could take from a C to an A+ overnight. I mean, even what we're going through right now, there are folks buying and selling right now. right?
Mhm.
So in some other situations, this event that we're going through just created that spark. So it's really, someone saying, hey, I want to wait 12 months, 18 months, 6 months, 3 months, whatever that looks like, that actually could flip overnight. But if we're not top of mind, we miss it. And the chapter today that we're going to talk about is internet lead conversion, which is kind of important now, right? Like more than ever. And we're going to take that same format where I'll go through it, but really the reasoning for this is to have that interaction going that says, hey, what are we doing? What did we do 10 years ago that was different? What did we do 2 years ago or a year ago that was different than what we could be doing today? And that's a huge conversation. So when you look at internet lead conversion, it starts by saying you can't expect the challenges of today with yesterday's tools and expect to be in business tomorrow, which is really interesting, right? Because look at what's going on now. So, what different elements here are going to be necessary for your internet business model? So, Scott, let's start with you, because I think the more we share, the more we learn and grow from this. So what are some different things you're using right now? Different tools, maybe it's a model, maybe it's command, maybe it's something different than command that you're using in your business for the internet.
I've not really done internet lead generating.
Okay.
I mean, I use command as a CRM, but I haven't explored, any kind of internet lead capture. Given where we're at right now in the last few weeks, it's something I've been thinking about bringing it on board, because there aren't open houses to capture leads with right now. And that's been my big source of lead generating. So
Okay.
that's I'm very curious about this.
Okay, awesome. Lysandra, what about for you?
Kind of the same. My main source is Sphere. So I ran a couple ads on Facebook when we learned how to do that. So I've gone through and just did the promoting my app on opportunities, or not opportunities. What is it? Smart Plans.
Okay,
Other than
awesome.
that, nothing really.
Nothing yet. Okay. And that, sometimes it takes a little bit of momentum to get it going, or it could be even changing that conversation. Like I've sent out links, whether it's landing pages or snaps, and you can see if they've opened them or not. And some have opened, some haven't, right? And so it gives me another opportunity to follow up and say, hey, I just noticed that I was online checking, on the landing pages and saw that you weren't on there. Just wanted to check in. Did you get the link okay? Have you had a chance, right? They're going to, tell us what's going on. But they're really, like, especially now more than ever, there's a massive opportunity behind internet lead generation. So Rhonda, how about for you? What different lead generation do you use as far as with the internet specifically? Do we still have Rhonda? All right, how about for Lucy? Lucy, how is your internet lead generation? Okay, so we're gonna keep on going because I don't know who could be. The videos are off. Scott, I can see you, but I can't see everyone else. So really, let's look at what a lead generation model looks like. There's actually 3 components to it. Now, and please understand, when Shift was written, a lot of what we do today has changed. For example, websites were the big piece back when Shift was written, right? And when we were coming out of the last market shift, it was all about the websites, different templates, different widgets, different different tools we can use within the website. Now, websites are actually basically dead. So the key around it is having that customer experience, right? So Lysandra, you were talking about building that internet presence out. Scott, you were talking about building that internet presence out. Now it's around landing pages, live data. So for example, it may be something, we know the story of Blockbuster, right? Compared to Netflix. Yeah. And how Blockbuster was on every single corner. And then quickly now Netflix has shown up. And if we went to if you looked at my Netflix account, it's going to be different from all of yours, right? Yeah. Jake, I'm sure nice to see you. And in the same conversation, right? 10 years ago, it was websites. Now it's landing pages. Now it's customization. Now it's all about the consumer. So the key thing around this, at least when we look at Shift here, the very first, and let's talk about this too, the very first area of focus is creating and maintaining an internet presence. What do you think that means? Rhonda, oh, I saw you just jumped on the phone there. What do you think creating an internet presence means? And Rhonda, you're on mute. So Rhonda, right at the bottom of the screen is a mute button. If you just click that button, it'll take you off.
She may be on another call.
Possibly. Okay.
What do you think, Scott?
So, Scott, how about for you?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Creating an internet presence. You know, I guess, you know, website, whatever it is you're going to do to capture leads, having that presence where it draws people to it, you know, whether it's a Facebook ad or a website or whatever it is, something that gets people to come see your profile, your page, whatever it is.
Awesome. Awesome. So specifically, what tools and content could you put in that website? What tools and content could you put in there that would attract the internet presence?
You know, I mean, I guess things that people search or that show up in their Facebook stream, or you know, in this time, you know, something about virtual home tours, how maybe content about how you help buyers look for houses without having to leave their home, or how you can help sell a house without having visitors into the home. Something like that might attract attention.
Yeah.
Your local specialties, maybe somebody searching for a Highlands Ranch realtor and focusing on your strengths as in a geographic area.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Lysandra, how about for you? What do you think for creating and maintaining internet presence?
You know, I don't know right now, definitely stats. People want to know what's going on. I think would probably be a main thing right now. Absolutely.
So one of the things that we really focus in on underneath creating and maintaining internet presence is going to be, both of you are absolutely correct on this, right? It's what tools are we using and what's the content around that? What's relevant, right? If it's not relevant, we're not going to click on it. We're not going to click on it. The consumer's not going to click on it, right? And you know, when you're looking at this, how can you raise the bar knowing, Scott, you just said a little bit ago, with open houses, people are not out there doing that. Obviously we know, you know, showings, being virtual, you know, Jake, we've talked about what your team has done in Golden, as far as doing, you know, digitally, right? And how to take listings and even close sales when we're doing everything from our home office, for the most part, right? Which is absolutely doable, by the way. In fact, we know that what's going on right now will forever change our real estate market. Forever. It's, and actually that is I believe that's a positive. I mean, the way that we're able to do some of these things is going to give so much momentum to those opportunities that show up that your business will never be the same. And everyone else's business in the same area is always going to have to change as well. And that those who don't pivot are going to have to pull back. So if we're looking at different areas to create and maintain internet presence, what groups are we a part of? Maybe it's even focusing online, right? Facebook, there's groups like the Pivot Shift group that's there that's going to pass 60,000 members. And they talk everything about strategies around how to create, maintain internet presence. What are specific things that folks are doing? You know, for some of us for many of us who've been in Bold, there's Bold groups that are out there as well. And everyone's talking like this right now, saying, hey, this is what I'm doing. Oh, I'm doing this over here. How's that working? Right? Because some of this isn't necessarily based on your area. It's still a model and a system we can run off of. What are your thoughts around that when you hear that?
You know, for me, it's funny. I just looked at the book just to see when it was written, and it was written in 2009. So when you look at what was happening in the internet in 2009 versus where we're at today, it all still exists. It all still plays an important factor. The difference is, where do we connect and how are we connecting today versus what was happening in 2009, right? I mean, in 2009, 2007 to 2009, many of us were, it was about how do I drive them to my website? How do I get them to come to me? And now no longer it's that, it's how do I get their information from the information that so it's more about how do I gather that info versus how do I make them come to me. And in order for us to do that, Scott, you said it, it's going to where they're at and it's appealing to them in that medium, right? Mm-hmm. So that we can then create that specific information, those landing pages, right? The Netflix of today, so that they see what they want to see when they want to see it, not what we tell them they need to see, because those are two different pieces.
Right. Well, the second part of that, Jake, who's that all about?
It's about the client. It's all about the consumer. How do we appeal to
right.
them at the highest level?
Right. And if we were to tell them what they need to see, who's that about then? It's about us, right? That's the main difference you're seeing right now between online presence today versus 10 years ago. 10 years ago, it was all about us. Agent websites are all about the agent. I mean, hello, my name is Patrick. I had a great website. It was all about me. I had IDX feeds. I had all this good stuff on there that I felt was valuable content, but the reality was it wasn't customizable at all for the consumer. And it was all bullet points about service that I would provide, not what are they looking for, right? How can I create a customer experience for them? When we look at the second main focus, any questions on that before we go on, by the way?
No.
Okay, awesome. So the second piece is lead generating for traffic, online marketing, offline marketing. Now, keep in mind, we talked about marketing versus prospecting on one of the very first tactics here. So if you're looking at, online marketing, offline marketing, especially right now, what are ways that you can start targeting that traffic, right? And who your ideal client is. How do you think you could break that up? Even taking Facebook as a platform. What are some different strategies that you could use in your database, your friends list, right? Which is a database. How can you use your friends on Facebook or something like along that platform to start creating target groups? Who wants to go for that?
How many of you done it? Let's go there first.
Or done one, right?
Yeah, or even know what Patrick's talking about when it comes to focus groups.
Cool.
Yeah, I definitely have not.
Yeah, I haven't delved into that at all.
Awesome. Well, there's tons of opportunity then, right? Like, look at that.
Right.
Holy cow. We could have 10 deals come out this week just by that.
So let me show you one of the ways we use our focus groups. As I take a bite of my lunch, that was good timing. What we do, so we farm a handful of neighborhoods, and those handful of neighborhoods, yes, we operate with. We're involved in the next door neighbor piece, and we set up a Facebook group for the neighborhood and some other things like that to keep it cool. And yet, the other thing we've done that they don't know we did is within your system, your Facebook system, as you go in and you friend all these folks, you can actually classify them as Homestead Farm 2 neighborhood or, you know, blah, blah, blah group, et cetera, et cetera. And then when you go to post a post or of something, if you just want them to see it, you can actually sort by the group you want to see it. So only they see it. Now here's a fun, they have no idea you did it. So all of a sudden, all these things that are specific to their neighborhood or their area start to show up in their feed, and it comes from you. Doesn't mean all you're doing is paying attention to them.
So, well, here's something to think about, right? How are we showing up? You know, why is Nextdoor so popular? I mean, why? Right? Nextdoor is so popular because it's a community, it's a connection within your neighborhood. So how do we become the next door? How does our Facebook become the next door? Right? Like what Jake's talking about on taking people in groups specifically to what their needs, their wants, location, right? Something like that. Maybe it's, hey, who loves dogs? Let's do things around dog parks, different locations, things like that. The reason it starts to run is because it's relatable. If it's not relatable, if it doesn't trigger emotion, then they unfollow us. We don't even know it. That's the scary part about unfollowing, right? So what would be an action item you could take, Scott, Lysandra, and Rhonda, and I don't know, Rhonda may be on the call right now too. So what's an action item you could take this week? What's an action item you could take today that could start forming these groups? Like, what do you think a really cool group could be that could grab that attention?
I didn't even know you could do groups on Facebook.
Awesome. That's fantastic. So what if you were to take 10 people today, 10 from your Facebook, 10 from your Facebook database, because that's what it is, it's a database, 10 people, and create a group out of that. And each day this week you took 10, either to add to a group or create a group. Do you think you could come up with 3 groups, whether it's Highlands Ranch or it's whatever you want it to look like, right? Because you can customize these. So for example, I can take someone out of Command, and I can look up agents that are not part of Keller Williams, but are in our area. I can add them on Facebook. I can bring them in from Facebook, then into a group that targets agents selling, 12 to 24 homes a year, right? Something like that. They don't know what the group is. They don't know that. They don't even know they're in the group. But if I can do something like that, what could you do with your database, right? Is it investment properties? Is it buyers looking for the best deals in Denver? Is it Highlands Ranch community news, right? Think of what Nextdoor does. Because Nextdoor, if you jump on Nextdoor, how popular is it? Oh my goodness, right? Like, it's crazy. And, we know most of the conversations are sometimes neighbors chatting, right? So if you can isolate the groups, then now you've breaking it apart. By the way, that's a model. And if you're using something like Command to help on the back end of that, or you're looking to build that group out and do Lead Accelerator, which right now is hovering right around $1. If you can use Lead Accelerator to grow your database, grow your Facebook group, now what does your business start to look like? The key is little baby steps, right? So maybe it's just adding 10 people to a group per day, which is pretty darn easy to do. You just go into your Facebook, create a group. There's help tabs on there for that. And then you just pull them over, pull and drop, right? Just 10. You do that in a week, 10 per day for a week, that adds up really quickly, right? Now we're talking about 50. Do that for a month, it's 200. A quote that I heard on our leadership call earlier today, which Gary Keller was on, was, if you were to look at your business today and you were to look at your business in 6 months, what do you have to do to not just survive, to thrive for 6 months if this is the new way of doing business? So if this is the new way of doing business for the short term, because we will come out of this, we will. And the key piece is going from survival into thrive. So what specific online activities can we do that's going to contribute to our business growing and then compounding, right? Because as we grow our business, here's the best part, market shifts. As we grow our business, right, and it goes like this, and our competition starts falling off, which they will and they already have, now look at our business in 6 months. This is where the high performers show up and why we start seeing massive success stories out of market shifts. I know we just have about 5 minutes left here. So any questions about that at all? Stop there for a second. Does Lead Accelerator? Great question, Rhonda. I know Jake definitely does Lead Accelerator. William does it as well. And I'll tell you what, we'll come up with a list for you, and then that way have some folks reach out to you. Jake can't hear you because you're on mute.
I was going to say, I think Leslie just did a training with the region that that's posted. So I'll see if I can pull that for you.
Perfect. Perfect.
And I also know that I think Nick on a national level just did it in Commander Database.
Okay. Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, so the third focus here. So we've gone over create and maintain internet presence. The second one is lead generation for traffic. That's the online marketing that we were just talking about. And the third one is capture, connect, and cultivate and close leads. It's kind of a lot all at once, right? They all tie together though. So if you're capturing, you're connecting, right? If you capture, you connect. And if you're connecting, you're going to cultivate, right? That's all part of top of mind. So what messages can you put out there that not just to capture, not just a net, think of a fishing net, not just a net, but then how do you cultivate and create relationships out of this? Even if they're online, this is the one time specifically, and regardless of how long we've been in the business, this is one of the most important times out of our entire careers to secure the relationship and grow the relationships, even if it starts online. And actually, most of them probably start online now. Because like Scott, you said, the open houses, right? Now we're going digital, right? So there's a lot of opportunity here and it's exciting. I mean, these are really cool times where we can run with this. So when you start hearing about capture, connect, cultivate, close, right? Like all these different terms, what does that do? Does that make you go into a tailspin? Does it get you excited? Does it make you start thinking here on different activities that you can take?
Well, I'll say I like the idea of having an online lead generation system. It feels like looking through the chapter, I feel like there's so much to do. I mean, I don't really have a website. I don't have all these things. I know you have to start somewhere, but it feels overwhelming. And
Understand.
I guess I'm thinking, what can I do right now to get some leads starting to come in so that my pipeline doesn't empty out. And
Drum roll, please. You have access to your own free website already included. All you have to do is build it out. It's real simple. Amber can show you how to do that. So can William. They've already done those pieces, so they can show you how to do it. Super easy. Once you've got that, it all connects through command. And then from there, through Lead Accelerator, you can push that website out and create the landing pages in a snap, less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Give
That
you a
sounds
tip on
good.
that. Give you a tip on that, Scott. Go to your Facebook and make sure that you have a business page. That's how Lead Accelerator
do have that.
communicates. Without the business page, it doesn't work. Okay, so go on there. In fact, that's one of the things that I worked on over the weekend, was the business page, which I'll publish tonight. So, and I feel you, I really do. Like I was chatting with Jake about this. Transferred 436 contacts from Paper Pipeline, from Excel, from all kinds of stuff into Command. And it took a while. Amber warned me, and she was like, it might take you a little bit. Oh yeah, she was right. She was very much right. 6+ hours. Now I am slow at this. So for me, I'm like, do, like that, right? So for those who may be more tech savvy, it's actually a lot faster. And if you have the right file, it just comes over. But set aside the time to do that. Start with the business page first, because you have to have that, and then go in and like Jake was just saying. So it's again, it seems very, just being real, it can seem very overwhelming. We all go through it, I promise. And when we break it down, just like our goals, just like everything that we really focus in on, when we break it down by doing compounded steps per day, it could be something really small, but something that compounding steps per day that you can start gaining that momentum. Once that momentum starts to run, then the monster kicks off. So the key is getting those steps going. The challenge we have as human beings is taking that first step, or looking at that first step and going, whoa, that's way too much stuff out there. I didn't realize there was that much.
And what better time
There's
is
only
right now? We've got that extra time right now. That's the gift of where we're at, to figure these pieces out.
Absolutely. Well, and that ties into leverage, right? So Scott, you're about to say something, I think.
Oh, I was just going to say, there's only so many times you can clean the garage during this quarantine. I mean, you got to have something else to do, right?
I know. I tell you what, I'm going to have a 1925 Model T running by the end of this thing.
There's so many puzzles you can do over and over again, because you can't order anymore.
Well, and some of it is, it's very relatable, right? Like, hey, working on the garage. Who else working on the garage, right? Like there's different things you can do that, and we've talked about this multiple times, be careful on what you post. And there's certain things you can do that can bring in community, right? I was on a call just a little bit ago, and we were laughing about that, truly. And I mean, this is different regions of the US. So what can you do that can create baby steps to get that running platform, right? Then the whole thing can start to take shape. The coolest thing too is that there's video upon video upon video on KW Connect that are awesome videos. Some are short and some are 30 minutes. And those will guide you, literally guide you through the entire step-by-step process. So in the event that you're not able to reach Amber or Williams cranking on his business or whatever that looks like, be proactive, right? Be proactive, go on KW Connect, go on those places and see what's there so you can start to really focus in on what's important to you and your business. That's what I was doing. And I've been through regional trainings and I still go to KW Connect daily, probably 3 times a day. So, and that's just me, right? So, the key piece though is, what is the opportunity that is in front of you right now? What do you want your business to look like, right? How can we help those around us and truly help them? Like care calls is number one way to do that. And then you can follow that up with internet, landing pages, all those different pieces. Hey, I know you're stuck at home just like I am. Would you like to check out what your neighborhood's doing? Sure, I'll check it out, right? Hey, can you tell me the difference? What do you prefer? A market? Do you prefer a snapshot versus a landing page, or both? That's a fun conversation, actually, and it's a great follow-up, right? My buddy in the Keys in Florida, I sent him both of those to get kind of his feedback on it. And I was like, I just thought I'd shoot it out there. And he goes, you know what? I actually prefer the Snap. And I said, really, why? He goes, I look at spreadsheets all day long. So because I look at spreadsheets all day long and I'm used to that, the layout of the Snap was so much easier for me to grab and understand than the landing page. So everyone could be a little bit different on that. And it's a really cool conversation to have. I know we're getting ready to, well, we went a little bit over today. What questions, comments, concerns, anything like that that we can tackle here?
Nothing for me. I think this was good just to get started, kind of take the first step and just get things moving in that direction. Bite it off piece by piece.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find some of those links and post them on our Facebook page too, so we can get some of that done.
Cool. Good.
That'd be great.
Good. Rhonda, how about for you?
Thinking about reaching out to my clients, and I was an agent during 1 year. I think I did 7 short sales. I think I had 7 closings, and they were probably all short sales. And communicating, like you had said in a previous meeting, the ones that withstood that were the ones that got out first. And so my clients, they're doing all well, but they may know someone. Having those conversations, like, not to brag and say, hey, if you know somebody that's kind of in a bind, I've done this. One walked away with 25,000. You know, I've been there, I've done it, but I don't know how to promote that. And I almost don't want to promote it because it's so dang depressing.
Well, it still tells a story about the customer experience, right? I mean, I think it's still, yeah, I think there's all kinds of different avenues or ways we can share something. And that could be one of them. Lysandra, how about for you? What was a takeaway, question, concern? Dun, dun, dun. I love seeing your smiling faces. All right, awesome. Well, here's what we have in front of us. So the next one we're going to talk about is tactic number 7 on Wednesday. It's pricing ahead of the market. So seller pricing strategies, which is going to be very, very relevant. Big question I have is what's something that, it's action steps, right? So what would be, Scott, we talked about that. Ron, we talked about that. So the key is, are we writing these action steps down, and who are we sharing them with? Even with internet lead presence or internet presence, who are we sharing them with as an accountability partner? Because then we can say, hey, you know what? I checked this out and this is what I saw. Here's the blind spot that I didn't see, right? That's the whole point of accountability. One of the points of accountability is identifying your blind spots. So, for each of us on the call, who can we reach out to that can hold us accountable on our action steps? Like, we have 3 action steps. I don't think 3 is too much, unless we can go with 1. The 3 action steps, who could hold us accountable? That could be doing a business page. It could be transferring database over. It could be watching some of the videos. Like, what videos are we watching?
I would be interested in that, and because I am somewhat new to the office, I don't, maybe you and Debbie might know, because you know my personality, maybe would know someone that would be a good fit, and not someone that's like me, but someone that we could play off of, that has different strengths, because I am interested in that.
Awesome.
And my home circumstances are not, they're wild right now. I mean, everybody is. You're homeschooling and all that, but I have an 80 and an 83-year-old toddler living with me. So
yeah,
and I've got the other 2 down the street that we're caring for. So I need to be pushed, but there are limitations where I'm just going to go, you know what, it's not happening today.
Awesome. I'd
But
love to help you.
I welcome that. So put that on your list.
I got it right here. I'm making my notes. Scott, how about for you?
Well, I don't know. When we were in the office, my little group of cube mates, Jamie and Jackie and Danielle, we sort of had a little accountability group. We're still keeping in touch and doing a Zoom every week, but everyone's at different phases of what they want to be held accountable for. for, if anything, right now. And I need to be pushed a little bit more. And I think that's my concern right now, is I've been kind of waiting to see how this is all shaking out. I kind of started out, I was on spring break the first week of all this, and I need to get back into it. And
Yeah.
this is a great starting point, this internet model.
Yeah.
Well, Scott is an Aggie and I'm an Aggie.
There you go.
I don't know if we should do some targeted marketing. I don't know. Think about it. Aggies are pretty loyal.
That's right.
Uh,
What do
I
you say?
love it. I love it. Awesome. Well, we'll let you two chat after this. And Scott, I was even going to say also William, right? You're on ALC with William. Reach out to that guy. He's driving.
Yeah, I'm into.
Yeah, he'd be fantastic. Lysandra, how about for you?
I have my landing page and my website all set up through Command. I guess it would just probably be more utilizing Facebook more.
Okay, cool. Okay.
And I think I have that idea of, I don't have kids, but a lot of people do have kids, and maybe some activities for kids.
Mm-hmm.
mine.
Yeah, no kidding. Go over to Ginger's house. Just get ready.
I got 5. And then,
And then you can swing by my place after that. I got a 10-year-old and a 1-year-old. We'll all have some fun.
and the center, you're right though. Doing stuff for kids is killer.
Yeah.
We had over 40 participants on our kids dance half hour last Friday.
Wow.
It was crazy. And it was fun.
Dance?
Yeah, we just do it. Literally, it's a Zoom that we do. We actually do it through YouTube and Zoom, and we've got one of our guys on our team actually goes through and he'll spotlight different kids, so they kind of show up on the big screen, and it's funny because some of them will simulcast it onto their TVs, and the kids freak out when they see them on TV. It's wild. It's they just have fun with it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so if that's the kind of stuff you're into, there's a huge opportunity there that's being asked for, because those of us who are now at home with our kids 24/7, there's only so much we can do to entertain them before they stop listening.
Yeah, exactly. Like scavenger hunts or coloring contests or something too.
Uh-huh.
Kids yoga.
Right? Yeah, kids yoga. I can do
There
that.
you go.
Well, here's an idea for you. What's coming up? There's a holiday coming up this Sunday. And, a lot of us, those of us who are spiritual, or even if not spiritual now, are becoming very quickly spiritual. We're used to going to church on Sunday. We're used to going and doing that on Sunday. And now we're home, right? So same thing with the kiddos. What kind of Easter egg hunt ideas could there be? What kind of, make some fun out of it, right? Like what could be a really fun thing to do on Sunday, even targeting kids? And I think that's where we're going to start seeing those creative juices come out, especially right now. Like market shifts go model systems creation. So it really, I think you're onto something with that. In fact, I know you are, because Jake, you've had great turnout. Another buddy of ours, Cody, has had great turnout with this. So Lysandra, who's going to hold you accountable to that? And, as far as for an accountability partner?
Nobody, myself.
Okay, well, if
Or
you'd
I
like
need to
to, we
find
can work on
somebody.
that.
Yeah,
Okay, awesome. Are you in PC coaching?
I should be. I think I am.
Oh, okay. I will find out. And the cool thing about accountability, again, it gives us another layer on making that first step. Once you take the first step, the second step. Once you take the second step, you gain momentum. Third step, fourth step, now you're starting to walk faster, you're starting to jog, you're starting to run. It has to start with the first step. And that's what's powerful about that accountability piece. So check out and go online, check those pieces out too on Connect. Any parting words here? I love the accountability piece there.
What I would say is take the first uncomfortable step, because everything else gets easy after that.
It's true. It's
I don't know if it ever gets easy.
All right. Rhonda, I think we lost you there for a second.
Oh,
Oh, nope, you're not muted. You're muted. There you go. Hi.
mute. Problems today. Too many things at once.
Awesome. Well, hey, make it a great start to the week, and keep an eye out on all the different online opportunities that are going on right now. Check out KW Connect. Check out the Pivot Shift group. Jake, am I slaughtering that? Pivot Shift, is that correct?
Pivot Shift Ahead.
Yes, thank you. Shift Ahead. 60,000 members right now, and they're all different companies. 60,000. There's a reason. The content is amazing. I really mean that. So, reach out to agents that aren't on this call, because there's, quite a few, and let them know as well that class specifically, or that online course is awesome. Guest speakers all the time. Check out Bold Pivot too, because that's what's going on. You got a little furry monster there, huh, Jake?
There's my little one.
Awesome.
By the way, there's
All right, guys.
information that was just new info that was out on Bolt Pivot, so keep an eye out. We're changing it and we're modifying the content. You'll see some updates here soon.
Awesome. All right, guys, it's great to see your faces. I would air hug you all, and we'll see you. Yeah, exactly. We'll see. We'll see everyone. We will have more classes going on tomorrow as well, and then pushing into the week. Don't forget team meeting, and then we'll dive into tactic number 7, pricing, which is always a good one here. All right, take care, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.